Welcome back for another video. I'm Eharbad, a free-to-play endgame player in Raid Shadow Legends. We are back on the challenge account about 24 hours after the disappointment of yesterday's shard pools, and we're going to do a bit of an update video and try and do a little bit of gameplay as well. We have been about 5-6 days since the last update, so there's actually a reasonable amount to get through. So strap in, let's jump into the photos first of all, and we'll go through them basically. So picking up where we left off in the last video, I believe on Monday evening, I managed to get the silver chest from the 4th anniversary events, and obviously we got 200,000 silver, so that was a complete and utter bust. On Tuesday, Bannerlord faction crypt was open. Managed to clear stage 9, managed to clear stage 10, managed to clear stage 11, and managed to clear stage 12. I wasn't able to get stage 13 to work. I haven't really put any gear on Valerie or Commander yet. I do think if I actually ascend Valerie and put a little bit of gear on both of those champions, it'll probably be enough supporting Rhonda to get through stage 13 and potentially even the boss, although I think that boss is actually one of the ignore defense bosses, so it might not be possible without another couple of champions to soak up some hits. We had the Dragon tournament going on at that time. This was pre-Brimstone nerf, and I was able to pretty consistently win the battles with this composition. Unfortunately, without a little bit of improvement of the comp, it doesn't really work anymore post Brimstone nerf. I just don't quite have the accuracy on Rhonda to make it consistent at stage 16 just yet. On the same day as Bannerlord, we also had Demon Spawn open. I did manage to use all of the kind of food we're preparing and our geared diabolist to clear stage 2 as a 3-star. Cleared stage 3, but only as a 1-star, 4 also as a 1-star, and finally stage 5 at 3-star. So just continuing to add up some additional faction war stars as we go, whenever we have the opportunity, just using champions that we've designated to be food anyway. I didn't even put any gear on them, so really it was diabolist hard carrying. On the Wednesday, we had the Magic Keep open, and we had intended on doing the missions for to get 1 superior potion during Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So obviously the Magic Keep on the Wednesday, we were able to do it. We're still using that level 40 Skinner. We can't quite get rid of him and use him to make our next 6-star yet, as we still don't have a viable alternative to be able to farm the Magic Keep. So for the time being, we're just going to have to keep using him. As you can see, we managed to get the Magic Keep mission done, and then we had clean sailing for a few missions after that we had already were retrospective, and we'd already basically completed the requirements for them. We then carried on and did the Minnow mission. I was farming Minnow 15 to get that done. As you can see here, we are able to 4-man Minnow 15, getting scrolls on Miscreated and Jamasa. Can't quite 3-man it just yet. It would be nice to be able to drop the Jamasa. I think we will be able to do that 3-man pretty soon. We just need slightly better stats. Probably want that 6-star ascension on at least 1, if not 2 champions to make it happen. The Dragon tournament, unfortunately, I was a little bit busy at work when it ended, so I wasn't able just to snipe the extra 15 gems for 6th place, but we managed to get 60 gems, finishing 7th, which is still a decent result. Got the epic book from the side as well. So overall, it was a fairly successful Dragon tournament for us. We didn't invest huge amounts of additional resources, partly because we just didn't really have the time. It would have been nice to farm Dragon a little bit more than I did, but I simply didn't have time to run the dungeon more than this. On the Wednesday as well, unfortunately, we were once again thwarted by defeating the faction war boss. If that had been the previous day, obviously we had Bannerlords, where we are able to beat a boss. On the Thursday, we were agonizingly close to the 3 key on Brutal, just about 100,000 short. Also, on the Thursday, picked up these boots from the market. Again, they're not exactly great boots, but they are 5-star speed boots in crit rate set, which could be reasonably useful. For the time being, I've just spent the 240,000 to get them on the account. I haven't yet rolled them up, but I just want to have the option if I do need a speed boot in the crit rate set to complete, a certain build. It could be like an Armiger build or something along those lines. I felt like it was worth the 240,000 just to have them on the account. So equally on the Thursday, I managed to continue doing the missions, making sure that we're able to do the Force Keep when it opens on the Friday. So I had 75 champions to defeat in Classic Arena, got that done. Then equipped 2 champions with level 16 artifacts. That was okay as well. And then jumped into the Fire Knight Castle, did farm stage 12. That was the right kind of affinity for this team. Haven't yet tried stage 13. I think we need slightly better gear on Armiger and another 1 or 2 viable champions that can rotate in. We'll probably look to do that in the next week or so, but I'm not really in any particular rush. I don't need to be farming Fire Knight right now. We're not going after the fusion, and we just don't really have great champs for it. We could make it work, but it's not really worth the time or the resources to do it right now. In any case, we're able to get that mission done, which opened the door for the Force Keep as soon as it opened on the Friday. And then Friday morning, managed to get the superior potion that we needed to get that done. Using this particular team, am able to farm stage 15. I don't think we could go any higher just yet. We just don't quite have the tankiness and the survivability. We don't really have full team healing. We've got 3 magic champions. We don't really have turn meter control. Our drop defense champion here, being War Maiden, is extremely squishy. So, stage 15 is pretty much the max that this can do right now. Then on the Saturday morning, woke up and got High Katoon, which is, I think, going to be reasonably impactful for our account. First kind of speed lead that we have. First TM booster that we have. We had an increased speed champion in Diabolist, but to have that paired with a TM boost on the same ability, High Katoon's the first champion we've got that's able to kind of get us really cycling that much faster. So I think we'll end up investing in her. Put her straight in the fastest gear I have on the account, which got us to 225 speed. After a bit of glyphing, that got us to 236, which is, I think, pretty quick for where we are. Yes, there are other people that are faster. We are working off a base speed of just 97 until she is 6-star ascended. Her base speed is a little bit on the slow side. Then we had the Tag Arena tournament ending. I had been basically top every day of the tournament until the morning that it was ending, and woke up and found myself 200 odd points off the pace. Put in the work, managed to eke out a 40-point lead with half an hour to go, and ended up buying an additional 40 gem refill to try and get it done, to get it over the line. But unfortunately, this De Careless, I think, is probably in Bronze 1, but as a much more developed account, and is able to kind of beat everyone on the page, because in the last maybe 5-10 minutes, he basically pulled out 2 times the points that I did, and went from being behind me, 40-50 points behind me, to ultimately 100 points ahead of me in just a few minutes. So there was nothing I could really do to kind of stay in the lead. So this is the first tag team or champion training that we haven't won. So we've had 3 victories that have really netted us absolutely no usable sets of Relentless, to be honest. So probably with our luck, this second place finish isn't going to actually have cost us anything. We did get the epic book, which is pretty good, and we got all the side rewards. So overall, pretty happy, but a little disappointed that we didn't get the top place. It did mean that I completed my clan quest for the week, though, which was finish in a top 3 position in a tournament group. So there is that. With the tag team behind us, we had the champion training, so that kind of our attention turned to that. I'm going to see, basically. I don't know if we'll be able to finish first, but I will invest some time and energy and attention into the champion training tournament. And as I've always said, I'll try and make sure that that champion training push, when I do it, will coincide with a tournament or an event where we have some additional gains to be made. We'll definitely get the legendary book from the side rewards. And if we finish top 3, we get an additional book as well. So there's marginal gains to be had. First would be nice. I don't think Ultan's actually that good a champion, but we are very short of champions right now, so I'm sure we'd find a use for him. Picked up another item from the shop. This time, although the rolls were slightly on the low side, only 4 speed rather than 5, it's still a good piece. Speed set with speed and accuracy. Again, worth the 250,000. Bought that. It did split roll. I was kind of hoping it would probably do a double speed, would have been my preference. But it's still a good piece, and I am already using it. I then spent pretty much all my energy yesterday trying to get the last remaining rare that I need to fuse Relic Keeper. So I now did get the Sorceress. It pretty much took me about 500-600 energy to get it, so not the best RNG, but also not the worst. It has taken us a lot of runs to get all of the campaign rares that we needed. At least those are all out of the way now, so we don't have to go back and worry about it ever again. We can just sit in Brutal 12-3 pretty much for the rest of eternity. I got another rare from Mystery Shards. It is a 3rd Preserver. Keep hoping that we're going to get that Coffin Smasher or that Apothecary, or there are probably another half dozen really good rares. It would be nice to get one of, but no, it wasn't to be. And then earlier today, first thing in the morning, we had the Void Keep mission to do. I had 500 energy from the login, the daily login. Went straight, obviously, to Void Keep. Didn't take too long to get the one superior we needed. Probably about 150 energy or something to get it. So it's not too bad again. After the Void Keep mission was done, I had to go into Spider's Den, do that 10 times in auto. So I was just doing stage 10. And then, obviously, the other quests were done, and that took us up to the clan boss quest. At clan boss reset, I then did that additional quest, which led me finally to be able to ascend my first champion to level 6, and that was Aethel. So I ascended Aethel to rank 6, which did mean, and this was something I cited, I think it was basically a week ago, and I ended up kind of waiting until this mission to kind of coincide. I had that plan to do Nether Spider, but I needed Aethel to be fully ascended to be able to actually make it work, and it did. I did record the run, so we will, after we've finished going through the rest of the photos, we'll bring up that recording and I'll talk you through the run, and then we'll show the build that I have Aethel in and kind of how it works. But essentially, I needed that 6-star ascension to get the banner slot to be able to put a res banner on, because Aethel is running just shy of 200 res here, which is what I needed to be able to solo the boss. Shortly after that, I then got another mission done, which was to win a 5 or 6-star amulet from stage 7 or higher. So obviously we are back again in stage 10 the Spider's Den. And now, as of speaking, we are on that arena mission, which will take us a little bit of time to get the 100 medals required. And then we pretty much ideally want to be back at the last stage of the Potion Keep missions again by Wednesday and see if we can square that all off by the end of next week. Picked up another rare from Mystery Shards, this time a Judge, who is actually quite a good champion for Secret Room 12 in Doom Tower 2 rotation, the rare magic champions only. And he also actually has a relatively interesting kit where he can apply the big versions of decreased accuracy, decreased defense, heal reduction, and I think decreased speed. He has a chance to apply any of these each time he hits an enemy. So it's actually a relatively interesting interaction, and we are quite starved of debuffs. So we'll see. I don't think I'll necessarily invest much time in him right now, but there are niche uses where he could actually be quite useful for us. So we'll have a think. But at the moment, I'll definitely be keeping him in mind for the future as always, and I'll probably take him to 4-star and help with the faction wars otherwise. Right then, that is us all caught up. So firstly, let us claim the tag team arena awards and see just what we've got for this Relentless here. And drum roll, please. We finally got speed as a substat. It is on a helm, which I think was the piece we already had speed as a substat, but this is actually a nice helm. It might only be 5-star, but this is a good piece. Attack percent, unfortunately, no speed. Attack percent, not great on the gloves. Flat defense on the chest. Please be speed boots. Defense with speed and crit rate. Like, that's not a terrible pair of boots, but at this stage of our account, we aren't going to be wearing anything other than speed boots for quite a while. Yeah, not really a great set of items once more, but not the worst. The helm is pretty damn good. I'm pretty happy with this helm. I still don't think we can actually complete a set, but we're getting closer. Other than that, on the Champion Training Tournament, we have crept up to 2nd place. We are at 7,500 points. Well on track to get the 9,500 Legendary Tome. And I also feel like this is a winnable group at the moment. We're in a reasonably good position overall. We still have 2,700 gems. There will be a large investment of gems going on during this CVC. That's when I'm going to intend on getting quite a lot of masteries done, so there'll be quite a lot of Minnow 15 farming during CVC, which will help us get those Clan v Clan points to get the milestones done. Essentially, I've been saving quite a lot of my resources for Clan v Clan. We've got a decent number of books accruing now. We will be able to invest some of those, probably in Genbo. We'll probably look to finish Jamasa and Miscreated Monster, both of which are lacking some books, or we'll be focusing on High Katoon. I haven't quite decided the distribution of books, but I do think, given the champions I have, High Katoon and Genbo are pretty high priority. I would like to get the passive on Jamasa, and then potentially after that, it would be the A1 and Miscreated, which is a nice to have, but it's not a need to have just now. In terms of our preparation for the champion training, we've got 2 4-star 40s here ready to go. Obviously, we need to keep hold of the Skinner for the time being still. We then have 4 here that are 5-star ready to go as well. And a nice number of 4 stars ready to be fed. So actually, we can make both of these into 5-star food right now. There we go, the usual brewing method. Get those tournament points right there. So as things stand, we have enough food to make our next 6-star, and we're fairly progressed on the way to being able to make the one after that as well. So I hope by the end of this champion training, we'll essentially have 2 more 6-stars to complement our roster. I've designated essentially Frozen Banshee and Genbo will be those 2 more 6 stars, which will take us up to 5 6 stars and put us in a stronger position to be able to compete on all fronts. That will give me better dungeon and clan boss progression through Frozen Banshee, who will then be first in line along with Miscreated Monster to get the minnow farm for the masteries. So once CVC begins, we'll be using gems for energy and be in minnow. That is the plan. And then I think Genbo is going to be quite important. Having a Void Nuka is quite handy. Being able to build Genbo with lower crit rate and focus on higher damage. I've been noticing in Arena, one of the things I'm struggling with is actually doing enough damage. Also, both of my damage dealers currently are magic, which is a bit of a problem on those bad affinity stages. Although I wouldn't normally advise building 3 damage dealers and not kind of focusing on your clan boss champions and your supports, the reality is I don't have any clan boss champions worth investing in other than Frozen Banshee. So we will be definitely taking Frozen Banshee to 6 star. But past that, I think Genbo is going to give my account currently the best progression. And then basically we've got 2 weeks until the 2x Ancients, which is going to be the next time at which we have an opportunity to transform the roster on the account. Armiger is another candidate as a potential 6 star, who I think would be pretty impactful in terms of progressing in the potion keeps and in Fire Knight. Right then, the last thing I wanted to do on this video is go to that floor 17 Nether Spider. Now, the first time I tried it, I ran this composition with Haikatoon as lead because I basically thought I'd probably need the speed aura would be the best. I didn't have a res aura to improve Aethel's overall resistance. So essentially I started this way. If we jump into the battle, essentially I was just manualing the waves, focusing on taking down the main threats. Here I want to ensure that we don't get the revive from Gorg, but also that we don't get the cleanses from Bad L. So I'm kind of trying to manage the fight, use my CC from Miscreated, use my lockout from Rhonda, and then just, cycle back round and make sure I have the same abilities for the second wave. Once we're through to the second wave, it's very much the same thing. Increase my speed, do the DPS from Rhonda, try and get some CC out, did to go for the damage, and now at this point I know I need to cycle back around and have my Aethel's A2 back by the time we get through. I do have the extra turn option via the A3, so as long as it's on only 1 turn cooldown, that is fine, which is the situation we have here. So with everyone else, just going to single target DPS the Nether Spider, and then use my A2 from Aethel to take down the Spiderlings, and pretty much just try and keep people alive. I use the single target heal on Jamasa to make sure that I'm not extending the poisons on her, and then she is able to revive. But ultimately, I was kind of just having a look to see what would happen. For some reason, on this particular attempt, I did end up fighting it twice, but on the first attempt, I noticed a few things weren't quite working quite to plan. So jumping ahead, this was the first time things did not go to plan, and that's simply that Aethel doesn't quite have enough damage, and 2 of the Spiderlings stayed alive, which meant that, we were nearly halfway down on the main spider, but those 2 counterattacks caused huge healing. So it became apparent that if we low rolled the damage on the A2 without the small increase attack self buff, which could be risky to apply because of taking the extra turn, we might not have enough HP to be able to do that. Basically, we needed slightly more damage to make this work, or really lucky on the RNG. I did, play it out, and we did ultimately die. I think we end up getting crit. So although we were kind of going along and we managed to kill the spiderlings, we then got crit and we failed at about half health. So what we then went and did is a few things. I checked the stats, had a little look. There's the 195 resistance I've managed to get. I did kind of want more like 210 resistance, but I couldn't make it work. Had res on the weapon, a double roll, and res on the boots, a double roll. So I basically was looking around to see if I could basically get a little bit more attack and a little bit more survivability. So I was kind of going through glyphing stuff and just trying to get slightly more stats out of the situation. And as always, you know how glyphs are. We roll 1%, we roll 1%, we keep rolling 1%. That's just the way it goes. And there's the double roll res on the boots. I then decided I'd try and get a little bit more attack on the amulet. Obviously low rolled again, and again. And then we finally managed to get a slightly better roll. So it took 4 times, 3 of which rolled the minimum. This is just the way the RNG goes, right, guys? Right, so then I thought we'd give it another go, and this time I'd use Rhonda lead. I decided let's try not having the speed aura, having a little bit less speed on Aethel, and go for the attack aura to make sure that we're definitely going to kill those spiderlings each time. So once again, it's just about managing this wave, making sure that we get through to the boss with Aethel's A2 off of cooldown. So let's jump ahead to where we get to the boss. Fast forward. Right, and there we get through to the boss. And essentially it's very much the same fight as before. We're going to use Aethel's A2. You can see all of those resists coming through. And we'll try again, use the heal on Jamasa, keep her alive, try and revive people when we can. Eventually, Jamasa's going to take too much damage, even with the ability to heal herself. It's not a big enough heal to kind of sustain a prolonged period of time. But hopefully it's enough that we can get a little bit of damage away, have a little bit of time with decreased defense, get a couple of brimstone procs from Rhonda, and then Aethel will take over for the last, say 2/3 of the boss's health. Hopefully now with the increased damage that we put into the build, we'll be cleanly killing the spiderlings each time. Another thing I started doing was counting the number of turns that the spider had, and I was trying to time using my self buff such that I had increased attack up for the time when the spiderlings were spawned. So right there we had the small increased attack on ourselves. So with those additional stats that we put on with the attack aura, and if I have the small increased attack on me, I'm definitely overkilling the spiderlings. And then it's just, as long as we don't get a really bad crit, and as long as we're able to kind of reasonably consistently proc Giant Slayer, we will win. And I think it will be reasonably consistent. Like I said, on Jamasa's side, so there we go with the increased attack again, 1 turn remaining, the spiderlings are going to be summoned now. If Jamasa was in a regen set, I think she would be able to, with the A2, stay alive long enough and be able to continually cycle back around, revive people, and that might overall give us a bit more damage, and it could be the way we do stage 110. Problem is, I don't have really any regen gear just yet, so we're just gonna have to see if I can even get to stage 110. There isn't that much longer left in this Doom Tower cycle, and we don't have a lot of champions. The roster's quite small. If we were to get there, then the idea is going to have to be doing probably something with Jamasa and the revives. I don't quite yet know, but we're going to have to see what we can do. At this point, I had a decision to make. Do I go for the self buff now, or do I think I'm going to get another turn? I decided I thought I might just get a double turn in, and we did by just a tiny amount, as you can see. A little slither on the turn meter. Had the increased attack. At this point, the fight was reasonably safe. I felt fairly confident that we are going to see this out, get the win, and that would be floor 70 done, which had been a real pain, to be honest. But, it shows that you don't need a cleanser, that even if you don't have a full team cleanse, you can find a way. You can. And I did eventually. Right, then if we jump back into the account, here were the final stats of Aethel that I cleared Nether 70 with. There's about 3k attack. I did crit cap Aethel in this particular build. Pretty low on the crit damage side. I don't unfortunately have a crit damage amulet just yet. I'm hoping I'll get one quite soon. And then just shy of the 200 res. I do think if you can get the closer to 200, the better. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the stats for 110. I haven't actually checked what resistance is required, but this was basically pretty much as high as I could do with lifesteal gear at the moment. But, got it done. So I've got to be happy about that. Right, then this has been a marathon of a video, and anyone who has stayed this long, I thank you, as always. And I'm just going to keep on grinding, keep on doing the champion training, and probably by the next time we do a video, it will be during CBC, and we'll be seeing how many points we can get on, and we'll see what happened in the end in champion training, and we'll probably have 2 more 6 stars by then. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.